Okay, so this is the last section on Soaphead Church and Summer. So Soaphead Church is supposed to be a foil character to Charlie. So he's very light-skinned West Indian, and his family has gone whiter and whiter with each generation. So he's striving for whiteness and cleanliness. And his name, even Soaphead Church, is an ironic reflection of that. So Soaphead as clean mind and church as religion. And his real name, Elihu Whitcomb, the white comb reinforces that. So the idea of white, and then the head again with a comb. So in opposition to Charlie's, sort of full physical freedom, he loves things, Soaphead Church does, but has trouble touching people. So he goes to little girls as the cleanest alternative to, I guess, slake his desires. So the idea is that no matter how different these people are, they still victimize the youngest and the weakest of the society, which is like a young black girl. He, again, has the same motivation as Charlie here. When Pecola asks for blue eyes, he says, and a lot of you put this as a quote, Soaphead pursed his lips and let his tongue stroke a gold inlay. He thought it was once the most fantastic and the most logical petition he had ever received. Here was an ugly little girl asking for beauty. A surge of love and understanding swept through him, but was quickly replaced by anger. Anger that he was powerless to help her. Of all the wishes people had brought him, this was the most poignant and the most one deserving of fulfillment. So he has the same motivation as Charlie. So Charlie wanted to, break her neck, but tenderly because she looked so whipped, but a very different reaction. So because he hates dirtiness and ugliness, he has this dog that he wants to get rid of, but he can't. Again, the dog is described as having liquid eyes, like green glue, sort of like a negative alternative to Maureen Peel's slow green eyes. And this is where the story sort of turns into a Faust story, where you have to sell your soul to the devil for something, sort of like Little Mermaid or Dorian Gray. So, in this case, Soaphead Church is the Ursula to Pecola's Ariel. So she doesn't know what she's doing, but she agrees to kill the dog. And they focus on the soft triangle eyes and the jerking body. So this is a parallel to when she killed the cat. So she sort of sold her innocence here, killing a dog. And remember, a dog is masculinity. So what Soaphead Church really probably hates about this dog is that it represents his maleness, his dirtiness, and he wants it dead. So Pecola has been blamed incorrectly for killing that cat earlier, which is femininity, and then, tricked into killing masculinity. So she's basically, killed all that's human about herself. This letter to God is really interesting because, remember, Charlie rejects God and prefers Satan, but Soaphead, because he's foiled to Charlie, does believe in God, but has sort of a mocking tone to him. So attention to he who greatly ennobled human nature by creating it. And then he writes how disappointed he is in God sort of abandoning these people, especially people like Pecola. So that's Soaphead Church's function. Foiled to Charlie, but with the same motivation to help Pecola. Obsession with cleanliness and desire to kill his masculinity, just like Geraldine's femininity was killed when the cat died. And then the ironic name Soaphead Church, as he's this sort of preacher, Soaphead implying clean thoughts, but he's the opposite of that. And then the harming effects of, trying to cultivate lighter and lighter skin within yourself. And the idea that, morality sort of gets darker and darker as that happens. Okay, then we go to Summer with Claudia and Frida's reaction to the pregnancy. So they desperately want Pecola's baby to live. So this is a very important passage. I thought about the baby that everyone wanted dead and saw it very clearly. It was a dark, wet place, its head covered with great O's of wool, the black face holding like Nichols' two clean black eyes. The flared nose, kissing thick lips, and the living, breathing silk of black skin. No synthetic yellow bangs suspended over marble blue eyes, no pinched nose and bow-line mouth. So Claudia wants this baby to live because it represents all that's beautiful about blackness. It's got, kissable thick lips, silk black skin, great clean black eyes, clean in that they're probably lack sin. And this is in contrast to the dolls that she hates so much. More strongly than my fondness for Piccola, I felt a need for someone to want the black baby to live, just to counteract the universal love of white baby dolls, Shirley Temples and Maureen Peels. So they attempt again to make this same sort of deal, mystical deal, where they think if they can sell enough marigolds and plant enough seeds, they can make the baby live, but they can't. Now I'm going to post, because a couple of you had the question about the motif of seeds. I'm going to post a separate comment on that. But their deal is not, sort of like Piccola's deal is not realized, but Piccola thinks it is. Claudia and Frida have enough sense to know that this deal is not possible. And then this is the saddest section on Piccola's conversation with this, unidentified italics. So you can read this a bunch of different ways. You can view it as her, imaginary friend. You can view it as the fractured version of herself. So she's basically talking to herself and then her insane self. Or you can view it as her talking to the eyes. If you look back, there's a lot of clues that it could be the eyes. So that the italics say a lot of times, like, oh, it's right here. Like they're able to see, and Piccola is not. There's an indication here that Charlie tried to rape, or did rape Piccola again. How could they make you? They just do it. And then over here, you said he tried to do it to you when you were sleeping on the couch. See, you don't even know what you're talking about. It's when I was washing the dishes. I'm glad you didn't let him. So, Charlie did rape Piccola again on the couch. I think it's on the next page that I don't think I scanned. But she was raped at least twice. And you can view this as sort of, in the prologue we talked about the 4 ways that people deal with hatred, and this is the dissolution of self, the total shutting down and dissolving into insanity. And then this is sort of the theme of the book. The horror at the heart of her yearning is exceeded only by the evil of fulfillment. So when you wish for things that you can't have, the only thing worse is thinking that you've gotten it. There's again reference to sap green, like Maureen's eyes and the dog's eyes. The imagery associated with Piccola is that of a bird. So we've got change colors. Bird, internal, grotesque, futile, fly, bird-like gestures. So she's basically, this pecking chicken figure going through the garbage. And that's, again, Morrison twisting white symbols of freedom. So it's not like an awakening bird, it's a Piccola bird. And I think this is the heart of the book right here. All our beauty, which was hers first and which she gave to us, all of us, all who knew her, felt so wholesome after we cleaned ourselves on her. We were so beautiful when we stood astride her ugliness. Her simplicity decorated us, her guilt sanctified us, her pain made us glow with health. Her awkwardness made us think we had a sense of humor. So this idea that everyone needs someone beneath them to thrive. So whether it's race or gender or age or class, you have to push down someone to feel good about yourself. And a lot of you had good ideas about what the book was about, but to me, it's not necessarily about race or gender. It's about needing a scapegoat. And then this sort of sums up Charlie. So love is never any better than a lover. Wicked people love wickedly, violent people love violently, weak people love weakly, stupid people love stupidly. And then this is Morrison's freeman idea. The love of a freeman is never safe. So the idea that your background has a big influence on what you view as good and evil. Okay, that's it. I'm going to post something about seeds, just in text to Classroom, and then feel free to post public questions so that people can respond to them and everyone can see everyone's answers. Okay, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.